Hey, this is Professor Rich, and this is TYT History. But I'm going to do something a little different here. Instead of doing one of the things where I try to give a history lesson, I just want to give my opinion on something that's happened in the news this last week. A lot of you have asked for this, and so here it goes. I want to talk about this Republican attempt to bring the Cold War back. And obviously this is just blatant politicking, appealing to fear. But the point I want to make today is, in my opinion, that's what the original Cold War was. And in order to understand this, you have to think about 1946. Now, clearly our tension with the Soviets predates this time. We invaded them in 1919, for example. And our fear, at least the elites in this country's fear of socialism and communism, goes back into the 1800s. But the Cold War really gets going in the mid to late 40s. And in 1946, you got to look at the position the Republican Party is in. Many voters, maybe most voters, blame their economic policies for the Great Depression. I do too. They're also blamed by many for World War II. Their isolationism of the 20s, and then their pushback against FDR and his attempts to get America involved in World War II is seen by many as the failure, particularly the failure to join the League of Nations, that allowed something like Hitler and the Japanese Empire to rise. Not to mention the fact that FDR is given the credit with a Democratic House and a Democratic Senate for winning the war. And then you had, of course, the big pushback against the New Deal programs. The Republicans had opposed Social Security. They had opposed some of the most popular programs in American history. So it's 1946 and you're a Republican. What do you run on? I mean, people don't trust your economic policy. People don't trust your foreign policy. And you oppose most of the programs that people like. Well, you do what politicians do in those circumstances. You go find a boogeyman to scare people and tell them that if they don't vote for you, that boogeyman is going to get them. And he's not the only one, but one of the people that does this is Richard Nixon. Now, Nixon had served in the war, although he didn't serve in combat. That's not his fault. That was the assignment he was given, and by all accounts, he did a good job. But he's going to come home back to California, where he's from, to the 12th District, and he's going to get recruited to run against a popular Democrat there. He's losing badly. And so he starts accusing his opponent of being a communist. And he plays that fear card over and over again. He drives it home. And he's going to win election in an otherwise Democratic year in 1946. Now, the Republican Party will take notice of Nixon and a few other candidates who've adopted this strategy, and they'll pick it up for themselves. Of course, I'll get into the details in another video, but Joe McCarthy will be a relatively obscure Wisconsin senator who will launch a campaign against what he claims are hundreds of Soviet spies that have infiltrated the American government. And this will give him a great deal of political power. In fact, in 1952, when Eisenhower wins, what you may not know is the Republican slogan that year wasn't "I like Ike," that was 1956. In 1952, the big slogan was 20 years of treason. This is what they called the FDR/Truman administrations. 20 years of treason. Of course, what's the treason? They claimed that they were Soviets, maybe not Soviet spies, but soft on communism and allowing communism to creep in. In fact, the Republicans will oppose when we develop the polio vaccine. The initial idea is that the government will just give it to all the children and will eliminate polio, and no more kids will have to come down with polio and be crippled or die. And the Republicans will initially oppose that on the grounds that that's communism. Now, to the Democrats' great shame, I should point out a few things. First off, Truman was as big a Cold Warrior as anybody. And the Democrats, seeing the political situation, look at this and simply say, well, if you can't beat them, join them. And certainly by 1960 with Kennedy, the Democrats have fully embraced the Cold War as well. Kennedy, of course, will get us involved in the Bay of Pigs, attempting to overthrow Soviet-backed Cuba, and of course the Cuban Missile Crisis. And so the Democrats do play into this game eventually. But in my opinion, from what I've read, what I've seen, the whole thing was started in order to win elections. And of course, we've seen this game before, haven't we, recently? You don't like any of our policies. You don't support anything we want to do. So here's this big bad guy, and we're the only one that can protect you from it, and the other guy is in league with them. This is pretty standard politics, isn't it? Now, why are they doing that? I mean, it doesn't work on me, and if you're under 30 particularly, you don't even have any idea what the hell they're talking about. But here's what you got to understand. The average Fox News viewer is 65 years old, according to a live feed survey in 2010. Well, if you're 65 years old in 2010, that means you were born in 45. That means that when you were a teenager, the Cold War was at its absolute height. You were 18 years old during the Cuban Missile Crisis. And so you have a visceral emotional reaction to the Cold War and the Soviet Union. And this is what happens when you build a party around trying to appeal to the oldest voters possible, is you end up making arguments like this that nobody else understands what the hell you're talking about at all. So that's what they're doing. They understand they're not going to get a majority of Americans to support what they want to do, and so they're trying to drive turnout of a minority of Americans and just get as many of them to the polls as possible and hope they can win. And don't get cocky. It's worked in the past. There's no real reason to believe why it can't work this time. So that's my take on that, with a little historical perspective thrown in. I'm Professor Rich. I hope you didn't mind hearing my opinion here on TYT history.